Hey guys, it's Brandon. Welcome to a new video. I'm going to have round 2 of myself versus ChessExplained, or Christoph Siliecki, newly minted International Master. And congratulations to him. The FIDE finally gave him the title, and it is well deserved. So, round 2, I have the white pieces. We did last week or 2 weeks ago, we did a 15-minute game where I had black in a French defense that didn't go very well. And so now, let's see what happens with the white pieces here. Yeah, of course. Of course, he plays this 2 knights Tango, which I know absolutely nothing about. I'm not sure what the idea of this. ChessQ is calling it the Kravkovich defense, but I think it's the 2 knights Tango, but I'm not positive. Okay, so knight c3. Maybe he plays e5. Knight f3. I don't know. I'll just play knight f3. I have literally zero theory about this defense here. Oh, e6. So if I play knight c3, well, we'd have some kind of transposition to like a nimzo with bishop to b4, trying to stop me from building the big center. Possibly. I could play maybe e3 here. I could play bishop g5 maybe. I don't want to fall too far behind on the clock. Let's just see what he's intending after knight c3. Maybe bishop to b4. Maybe it was even worth it for me to play it like a queen's India. Yeah, okay. I could play queen c2 here, and maybe he would play d5. I could play e3. Play this out like a Nimzo Indian with the knight on c6, which does stop him from playing c5. Alright, I'll just do something solid. Maybe I'll play for e4 later. So bishop d3. He may play d5 now, then maybe bishop d3. DC, bishop takes c4. This kind of stuff. Okay, he just castled. So let's play bishop d3. Try to castle. Maybe I can play e4 right away. Maybe he has to play d5 here to stop me from playing e4. And I'm already almost 2 minutes behind on the clock, so that's not good. Last game, not only did I have a terrible position, but I fell way behind on the clock. So I'll try to keep up a little bit here. Okay. Make some obvious recaptures here. So this is turned into somewhat of a Nimzo Indian. Yeah, I thought d5 would come. He just wants me to stop me from playing e4. I could play d takes, but then knight takes. I don't want any of the pressure, so I'll just castle and see how he chooses to play here in the center. I could put a question to his bishop. Maybe I could have done that in the last move. a3 takes. He gives up the bishop pair, but in this type of variation, it leaves me with doubled pawns, but I can always exchange one double pawn on d5. So an example, if it were my move now, a3, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, I would have this temporary c3 and c4 double pawn, but with the pawn on d5, I can probably play c takes d5, e takes d5, and then push c5 again, push c4 again, hitting the center. So if I play something like a3, I would actually be somewhat surprised if he gave me the bishop. But I suppose, well, he could play, let's see, a3, bishop takes, pawn takes c3, knight to e4, queen c2, and then he could play something like f5 even, going for some kind of stonewall. Okay, so he took immediately. Okay, well, I guess I have to take back. Knight a5. Okay, so he gives me the opportunity to play e4, I believe. e4. Can I break early with d5? Let's see, d5 takes, knight takes. I don't know if d5 really threatens anything. Let's see, d5. I don't think it really threatens anything. But what about e4? e4. I'm threatening e5, so he probably plays e5 himself. Then I play, let's see, e4, e5, d5, getting some space. And then he'll probably try to chip away at my center. Let's see, e4, e5, d5, knight e7. And then he'll play something like c6 to try and chip away at my center. Is there any use for queen b3? I don't think so. Queen b3 runs into knight a5 anyway. So e4, e5, d5. Yeah, okay, let's do it. So I'm threatening e5 here. All right, so my idea here is to get some space and make this bishop a somewhat bad piece. So c6, I have good control over the d5 square. Anytime he plays, okay, I gotta keep control over d5 here. So c6 takes, doesn't have enough. If he ever plays c6, I can try and get a passed pawn, or just the d5 square. Okay, his bishop, he does need to develop his bishop, and I'd like to restrict it by playing h3, just stopping the bishop from coming to g4, or a knight from coming to g4. So this bishop has to figure out some other way to break out of this position. He may have a plan involving something like, getting a knight to f4 possibly. I was thinking he could play something like knight back and then f5 for some play. Yeah, the knight coming to f4 would be dangerous, but I don't think he can do it yet because of knight f4, bishop takes f4, pawn takes f4, e5, forking pieces. No, because bishop takes. No, because of the knight. So the knight f4 doesn't work yet. Maybe I just play rook e1. Maybe I try to get my piece developed. Knight f4, bishop f4, pawn f4. I don't know where this bishop really belongs, to be honest. I could play bishop g5, h6. I really don't know where this bishop belongs. I'm going to put my rook on e1. I guess I could play bishop to d2 here. Okay, he wants to chase my bishop off of this diagonal. a2 to g8, but I'd like to keep it on that diagonal, which is why I'm going to play a3, so I can play bishop a2 in case of b5. I'd like to keep it on the d5 square. Oh, this is interesting. Alright. So maybe just bishop d2 here. Maybe I consider maybe even b5 and bishop to b2. Not sure. Maybe just queen d3. Queen d3, knight f4, queen c2. I don't want to put my queen on d2 and block my bishop in. I don't want the bishop on e3 because of it'll be blocking the rook, the rook's view. I don't want to put it on g5, h6, takes, queen takes. I don't like any of that. I don't really know what the bishop is doing on b2 anyway. Let's see, b4. I don't know. Thinking about queen d3. Queen d3, he might play knight f4 at some point. Knight f4 still doesn't work at the moment, but it may at one point come in with tempo. Queen b3 hits the b2 pawn, b5 would stop my bishop from coming back to a2. Queen c2 leaves protection of the d5 points. But maybe that's okay. Alright, I have to make a move. So queen c2, overprotecting really this e4 point. I don't know, if he really wants some play in this position, I have a feeling it's going to have to come from something like somehow removing this knight from, and I think his idea will be f5. I could try to radically prevent f5 by playing something like g4, but I'm not sure that that really does anything for me. Actually, he just wants to get a knight into f4 with this move. So, okay, I don't want to develop my bishop because he puts a knight on f4. Yeah, and if he does play f5 and I take, he'll have bishop takes f5 with tempo on the queen. Can't play g3. So how am I going to meet f5? f5, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen has to move. I could play bishop to g5 just to see how if he plays f6. Alright, whatever, I'll just get my piece out. He may play bishop to d7, and I'm way behind on the clock as usual. So if he plays bishop d7, I don't want to take because that bishop is really not doing anything. So how am I going to meet bishop d7? What I'm saying is if he plays bishop e7, if he plays bishop e7, this bishop is just staring at this pawn here. Oh, maybe he's thinking about some sacrifice on. He's definitely thinking about a sacrifice here, and with the knight coming into f4. Boy. Oh man. How am I going to deal with this? I could play bishop f1. Yeah, maybe bishop f1, try to defend some white squares. Yeah, I had a feeling this was going to happen. So more pressure. Take, knight takes f4. Maybe I have to play king h2. King h2, and then maybe I'll have some resources with the knight to g1. Some defensive chances. I'm expecting him to take with the knight. I don't think there's any point to taking with the pawn. So, can I play king h2? I'm going to try it. If he can really get an attack here, I'd be not so much. I mean, I'd be impressed. The real situation here is, by the way, this one half is not. I started doing a video, and I messed up the recording. So we just drew a game that we'd started for about a minute, and that wasn't an actual result. I don't want you guys thinking I actually got a draw result against Christoph. So I don't know. Maybe I can have some play here with some ideas like knight e2, trying to trade this knight. Knight e2. Knight takes e2, queen takes e2. I also maybe can cover the h6 square by playing knight to g1. Not sure how he's going to put any more pressure on it. The real question is what I'm going to do about f5. And the answer is not capture on f5. Because f5, and he'll be able to, if I capture, bishop takes, queen d2, he'll have like annoying stuff like just pushing the pawn and exposing this bishop against my king. So what on f5 to do is the question. In any case, let's see, f5, knight to g1, ef. I don't want to play knight takes f5. Bishop just comes in and pins. I'm not sure I understand this one. Let's try to get that knight out of there. And if he plays f5 now, I think I can take and play e5. So, okay, I have a little bit of space advantage, so I shouldn't theoretically be oh, he doesn't. Knight takes d5. I don't know. Somehow people have managed to get into this game, and even though it's a private game, I don't know how that happens. Yeah, he does have knight takes d5 here. And then follow that up with e4. That's a shame. That's a real shame. Decided to trade. Okay. Queen takes. Maybe knight d5 didn't work for some reason. Alright, well, I think I've successfully fended off this attack. So, maybe I can start to think about how to put pressure on. First of all, I'd like to get my king back out of this e5 diagonal here. this diagonal where the bishop's on d6 tend to h2. So, okay, he's protecting. He's overprotecting the e5 pawn. So, what to do for myself now, actively? Maybe I can drop a rook onto this file here. Don't really know if it's doing anything on this file. So his play is going to have to come from f5 now. f5 at the moment isn't possible. f5 at the moment I think would lose a pawn. f5, pawn takes. If bishop takes, then knight takes pawn. Okay, okay. So my idea was to get a grip on the d5 square. But now, let's see, if I play c takes, he plays bishop takes. But, okay, c takes, bishop takes, rook to d1. If I let him take, then takes the pawn. I don't like any of those options. I really think I have to take here. I don't think I have too much choice. I don't like to do it, but if I play this, he'll play rook c8. He does have the bishop pair, I forgot that. My bishop isn't doing much. I'm going to get this queen off of the diagonal that my bishop is sitting on so that this bishop can come out. I wonder why knight takes d5 didn't work in that last position earlier. Okay, so he's got the bishop pair. One of the bishops isn't a great piece at the moment. Can I try to get some queenside space with b4? b4? Not sure. I'd like to try to keep pressure on e5, but okay, maybe he wants to play bishop to a7. Why don't I get this bishop doing something on this diagonal? Bishop a7. Queen e2. Something. I just wanted to get this bishop out and doing something, as opposed to nothing. Yeah, okay. So I guess he thought that it was better to have this bishop on this diagonal pointing at f1 rather than just staring at this e5 pawn. Can't argue too much with that. Yeah, I'm way down on the clock as usual. So, hanging on here, he did leave this point e5 a little bit weakened. Should I challenge this rook, or should I play... not sure. Well, I might as well put my other rook on the other open file. This rook still has to come into the game. I have to be careful because this pawn is pinned on f2. So this square on g3 is a weakness. He doesn't have a knight to land there on g3, but I don't know. I really don't know what's going on here. Can you find some way to pressure e4? I mean, this position looks really nice for him, but I think if you put this into a computer, it would say that I'm roughly equal out of this position here. Maybe black is slightly better because the position is open and he's got these two bishops. I could try to trade one of the bishops. What about that? That's generally what you want to do when you have the bishop pair. The problem is if I try to trade one of his bishops, I'll have this passed e-pawn, but he'll have this mobile... I'll have this passed d-pawn, but he'll have a mobile e-pawn. Maybe some stuff with e5, e5, e4, and chasing my knight away. I'm not sure. So he's letting me catch up a little bit on the clock here. I don't want to initiate any exchanges on the d file at the moment. He can trade, and then if he tries to trade rooks again, I take, queen takes, and then knight takes e5. So that's not really possible. I don't know. I think I have an okay position here. I think it's hard for him to come up with some plan. Okay. What about bishop d5? Bishop takes d5, takes, rook takes, rook takes d5. What about that? Bishop to d5, bishop takes, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, rook takes d5, hitting e5, getting my rook into a somewhat nice position. I don't know if I want to trade. This bishop is really nice, pointing at his king. But, okay, I don't have time. I really am coming down to no time on the clock here. Okay, this was my plan. So I'm hitting e5. And maybe I can play queen to d2. Trying to get some play with... on the d file. Maybe his best chance is to actually no, he has to do something about e5. Bishop to b8, queen d2. I actually kind of like my position at the moment. I think I actually have a pretty good position here. Yeah, okay. Queen to d2. Try to get in on the file. Okay, still hitting e5. Yep. So his position is a little passive here, but I really can't think of something for myself to do. I think this position is just equal. Maybe I'll offer him a draw, see if he takes it. No, I guess he doesn't want to take the draw. I'm going to lose this game on time. I'll try to eliminate some squares here. Maybe get this knight into c4. And I'm proud of this game. I think I've really played him even through this game. I don't know. Maybe he missed knight takes d5 in the earlier position, or maybe there was just some way in which it didn't work. But okay, I think I'm playing a game to be proud of here. If he plays b5, then I think I'll play knight to b3 to c5. And wow, maybe I actually have chances on the clock now. Is there anything to knight to b6? I don't know. Knight b6. I don't know. I don't know what to do in this position. I'm running out of time. Maybe I can play queen d7, attacking the b7 pawn and the queen. No, I don't want him getting counterplay here. Oh, man. Alright, well, he gets some checks in here. I really don't know what's going on anymore, but I'm about to lose this game on time. Okay, so I lost this game on time. But maybe I was just equal here in this position after king takes. I think this position is just equal. So, yeah, an interesting game. I thought, well, let's see, knight e2. Knight e2, I thought in this position, somebody suggested knight takes d5, but maybe it didn't work for some reason. Let's see, knight takes d5. Pawn takes d5. d4. Yeah, I don't know. I have to check that with a computer or something, or maybe he suggested something in his version. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that game, and we'll see you next time.